Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to another simple Salesforce tutorial video. My name is Jay. From the last video, we learned how to create records using simple Salesforce. In this video, we're going to learn how to create, update, delete, and upsert records. So here, let me create a new script. And I'll name this file data management.py. Now let me grab my libraries and my credentials. So I'll copy paste right here. I also copied the instant creation statements. So this will create my session ID, instance URL, and Salesforce object. So we'll start with something easy. So here, let me pick an object. So let's pick so I have a custom object called projects, and let me go into this object. And if I look at the field metadata, this object doesn't have that many fields. So name is required. So here, let me grab the API name. So we need the name. And also update end date. So end dates, I'll grab this field. Oops. And priority field. So just two fields I want to provide a value when I create a new record to the project object. So first, we need to create the project object instance. And to do that, we can use the SF type class. It will provide the object API name. And also need to provide the session ID and Salesforce instance name. And I'll pass this output to project __ C object. And once you have the object instance created, so we need to provide some data when we create a new record. So here, let's name this object data, and the data object is going to be a dictionary. The key is going to be the field API name, and the value is going to be the value associated to the key. So let's say I want to create a new project. I'll name this project Yellowstone. And for the priority value, I'll set that to high. And for actually, let me use start dates. So let's see. So I'll grab start dates as well, just to make this a little bit more interesting. In Salesforce, they use a datetime format called RFC format. So here, let me pull out the documentation. I won't be going too much detail on this datetime format. So if you're interested, you can go to the documentation. And here, I'm just going to show you how to insert the correct datetime format that Salesforce will accept. So let me go back to the import library statement. Here, I want to import the datetime library. Let's say the project date is today. So let's create an object. So today, I'll name this object today. And from the datetime library, I'll reference the datetime class .now. And this will return the current date and current time. And here, I want to provide today's value. Next, I want to use the ISO formats method. And this will convert the datetime format as text string. And at the end, we want to insert uppercase Z. So this is the format. So if I simply just so here, let me run this block. if I print today's value, it's returning us a datetime data type. And if I convert to ISO format, oops, yeah. Let me do that again. And that's going to convert the dates and time into this format right here. In Salesforce, you also need to combine with uppercase letter C at the end. So this is the correct format that Salesforce will take. Now let's say the start dates will be today and now, so the current time and the current dates. And for the end date, so project end date. And let's do today's dates plus 45 days. So we'll take today's object and we'll insert a plus symbol. And from the datetime library, we want to use the time delta function. I think this is a function. Inside this function, we have several parameters. You have days, seconds, microseconds, even minutes, hours, weeks. And I'll provide the days value. So here it's going to be today's dates plus 45 days. Now we need to wrap this statement with parentheses dot ISO format and plus letter Z. And in here I forgot the comma. Now this is going to be our data object. So this is the field information that we're providing to our project object when we're doing the record creation. Now all we need to do is we just need to take the project C object. Oops. That creates. And our first parameter is the data value. So we'll provide the data dictionary. And for the headers, we can just set that to none. So it's going to be the default value. And we're going to store the output to a response object. And here I'll print the response object. Now if I highlight this block of code and run it, and from our print response result, so here we have this is the record ID. You also have two other different values. So one is the success value, and success meaning that this record created successfully, and I'm getting 2, so that means this record has been created successfully. And if you are getting false, then you should see an error message followed by the reasoning for that error. Now let me take this record ID and I'll go into Salesforce, and I'll replace the link. So I'll add the record ID here, and so let's take a look at this record we just created. So here's our project Yellowstone, and the start date is today, which is April 21st, 2020, and the end date is 45 days from April 21st, 2020. And the priority status is high. And that's how you create a record. Now let's do another example. For this example, we're going to create records with parent and child relationship. From the project object, we have a lookup field that look out to the account object. And single account is your parent. So for one account, you can have multiple projects. So let's see. Let me remove this. So let's say I want to create 5 accounts and 5 projects. And for each account creation and each project creation, want to link those 2 records together. So here let me insert notes. So parent, child, relationship, record creation. So first we need to create our object instances, and I'll recreate the object instances. So this one's going to be project. And I want to provide the session ID, instance name. And this one's going to be account object. Now I'm going to create 5 new records. So here I'm going to insert a loop for I in range from 0 to 5. Let's do 1 to 6. And that'll also give us 5 records. I'm going to simplify the data creation just a bit. So here let's name these data accounts. So this is going to be the data value that I want to provide to my account object. So all we need is all we need to provide is a name. So let's call this retail accounts and plus the I value. And for the account type, so let's do prospects. Now we'll take the account object that creates, and we'll provide the dates accounts dictionary. So this should be data accounts, not dates, sorry, data accounts. And to grab the record ID, so let's name this account ID, and we'll take the response object dot get, and we'll provide the ID key. So here the ID should be lowercase ID. Now we have the account ID. So when we create the project record, we can just supply the account ID to link this account. So for example, the first account to whatever the project that we're creating. And for the project data, so I'll name this object data project. And for the name, so let's name this Yosemite. And also insert project. So let's name project Yosemite. And followed by the I value. And I know my lookup field for the account object is called customer accounts. And here I'll assign the account ID. And here I'll pass the output to a response object. Actually, let's call this response accounts. And this one will be response project. Project. I want to grab the project ID. Now I'm going to print just the record information. So here I'm going to print record created. I'll insert let's do 50 dashes. And I'll print the account ID. And this is going to be project ID. Now if I highlight this block of code and run it, and here I create 5 records. Now if I go back to Salesforce, and if I go to my projects object, and here's our 5 projects we just created using Simple-Salesforce. Now let me go into one of the project, and here's our project name. So project Yosemite 3. And for the customer account, So here's retail account tree, which is associated to this project. Now we learn how to create a new record. The next item is how to update a record. So this one will be update record. And I'll use project object for demonstration. For project Yosemite 1, 2, 3, and we know the start dates, completion dates, end dates, budgets are all empty. And to update a record, you're basically following the same step. So here you want to provide dictionary and to fill in the missing values or whatever the fields that you want to update. So here let's call this update data. And I'll create an empty dictionary. So here we just need to manually assign the field API name. So for budgets, so I'll assign, let's do 3,000. Actually, let's do 300,000. And for the start dates, let me grab this dictionary right here. For the start date and end date, I'm going to create a function. So here, let's create a function to simplify the date creation process. So I'm going to name this function convert to RFC date time. And we're going to have several parameters. My first parameter is going to be year, months, and we're going to set the default to 1900 and first month and first date. And for the hour, I'm going to set that to 0, and minutes, I'm going to set that to 0. If you want, you can also provide the second parameter. And I'll pass the output to an object called DT. So from the datetime library, datetime, I want to provide the year argument, months, day, hour, and minute. And for the second parameter, I'm going to set that to 0. That is ISO format. And we'll concatenate with letter Z. And here we need to insert return statement to return the value. Now here, let me put this. Let me move the function to the top. So here, let's say what instead of adding 45 days from today's date, so this will be so I'll still use today's dates. Let's see, with today's dates. So right here. So grab this statement right here. And I'm going to assign that to start dates key value. And honestly, if you want to create, so when you are creating a new record, and this method will work just fine as well. So create an empty dictionary and manually providing value to each field. And next will be update dates. Actually, let's do this. So I'm going to use the function, and for the year, I'm going to use 2020. And for the months, let's do May 15. And for the hours, I'm going to leave that as default, which is 0. Now for the end date, so end date is that end date. Let me take a look. Right. So for the end dates field, now we have a function to use, so we can easily assign the dates value. So we can say that. So if we just, actually let me do this. So I'll assign the year to variables, and that way we can manually manipulate the values. and this is gonna be months and day. So let's say the project end date will be 5 months from the start dates dates. So let's do months plus 5. And for the date value, I'm going to assign that to 1. And let me see what else am I missing. So I'll leave the completion date alone. Priority. Let's see what values I have. So let's do median. So for priority, let me grab the field name. I'll set that to median. Now we'll take so to update a record, we'll also need to provide the record ID. So I'll grab, so from the response project, and I'm going to use, so I believe that the record is still attached to response object. Let me see. All right. So we'll update this record with this information right here. So this is going to be our project ID. And to update a record, so we'll take the object instance. In this case, will be projects __ C. That updates. And from the update method, we want to first provide the record ID. So it's going to be response project.get. And we'll grab the record ID from the project record. And next, we want to provide the data. Now, if I run this code block, I'm getting a response code 204. 204 means this action has been complete, and no output will be printed, but the action is complete. Now, if I go back to my project Yosemite tree record and refresh this page, actually, I don't think that's Yosemite tree. So here, let me grab the record ID. Okay, should be project Yosemite 5. So if we look at the fields that we updated, so for priority, we update the value to median. And for the budget, we update the amounts to $300,000. And there will be October 1st, 2020. And because that's 5 months from May. And for the start dates, let me see, start dates. So the start dates didn't get populated. Oh, I know why. So here I mistyped the dictionary name. So it should be data. And here I type as date. So that was my mistake. Now if I update this record again and refresh, and I'm getting the start dates. So May 15, 2020 with the end date October 1st, 2020. So that's for the update record. Now let's learn how to delete a record. Deleting a record using Simple-Salesforce is pretty easy. It's actually way too easy in my opinion. So here, this is going to be delete record. To delete a record, so let's delete this record, we just update it. So I'm just going to manually grab the record ID. And to delete a record, so we'll use the delete method. And all we need to do is just provide the record ID that we want to delete. And if I run this line right here, now go back, refresh. And here, this record has been deleted. So that's for the delete action. Now let's take a look at how to upsert record. So this one's going to be upsert record. To upsert a record, so we'll reference the project instance .upsert. For the record ID parameter, so it cannot actually provide the record ID, and because you are performing an upsert meaning that you're using an external ID or external primary key to update or create a record if the record doesn't exist. So here, let me grab the external ID API name. It's this one right here. So ext ID __ c. So for the record ID, here let me create a variable called external ID. Want to provide the field API name and followed by / and followed by the external ID value. So let's say my external ID is 123. Actually 123. Let's do 777. So it's gonna be our external ID, and currently this external ID does not exist. So when I perform an upsert action, a new record will get created, and with this external ID 777 attached to that record. So we'll provide the external ID object, and for data parameter, so we can I'll just grab update data object. So let's see, update data. Okay, so this dictionary object still has some information in it. So here, want to provide the update data object, and I'll print the response to a response object. Now if I run these two lines, and if I print the response object, so here I have 201. Let me see. 201 means the records didn't get created. Alright, so I said I know the reason. So one thing I was missing is the project name. So because this record currently does not exist, so when we perform an upsert, and it needs a name value. So to fix that, so here we'll just assign the name. Let's name this project Salesforce. Now if I rerun the code block, if I print the response object, now I'm getting response code 204. So that means a new record or a new update action has been performed. Now if I go back to the project object, and here's my project Salesforce, and let's say I want to increase the budget from 300,000 to 500,000. So here, let me grab the update object. Here, let's do this. So we'll increase the budget value by 500,000. Now if I run the same code block, now when we go back to Salesforce, we should see these records now should have $800,000 budget. So go back and refresh, and here our budget update to $800,000. So because these records based on this external ID already exists, so when you make an upsert action, it's going to update a record instead of creating a new record. So that concludes this simple Salesforce tutorial series. And if my videos, if this tutorial series are getting enough views, and here are some of the use cases that I want to make tutorials out of. So for some of the things you can do using simple Salesforce, like data cleanup, data migration, update records based on different criteria, and I also show you how to upload attachments to a record, and deleting records based on criteria, data exchange between Salesforce and a database system. If I do decide to make a tutorial based on this topic, it will most likely be either Microsoft SQL Server or Microsoft Access. And the last item is on my to-do list is how to create records, new records, based on a CSV file or an Excel file. So that's everything I'm going to cover for this tutorial. And hopefully you guys found the material useful. And as always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video.